it might happen, Bhante, before he dies, if he's a faith follower, because they predict before they die.
To be a faith follower, you need Dhamma.
No, Dhamma follower, Dhamma, Bhante, faith follower.
Both, also. No right view, no path and fruit.
We always hear path and fruition, and you have the 4 pairs and the 8 person. So I have, and I think many of us too have this question in our mind is, when does the path fruit? Is it almost simultaneously, or is there development of the path after some time, after a period of time when the path ripens, then it fruits? Or is it like the Abhidhamma said, it is like almost immediate?
The Buddha says that when a person attains the path, it takes some time. The latest, at the moment of dying, he will turn to fruit. That is why in the suttas like the Dakkhina Vibhanga Sutta, it is said that you can make an offering to a path attainer. You can make an offering to a fruit attainer. First path, first fruit, second path, second fruit, etc. So if it is instantaneous, path becomes fruit, you don't have a chance to make an offering to a path attainer, isn't it? So how long it takes, it depends on that person. How much work he has done.
Would it be in this lifetime, let's say, if you attain to the path? So the fruit.
It depends. For example, for a person to attain stream entry and become a first path attainer, the requirement is right view. Okay, so you, for example, you don't meditate. Okay, then you listen to the Dhamma, the suttas, or you read the Nikayas and all that, and then after some time, after putting in some effort, maybe a few years, you have some understanding of the Dhamma. You might have attained the path. Okay. Now, when a person attains the path, he has seen the Dhamma. What is called? He has attained the Dhamma Chakku, vision of the Dhamma. When a person has attained the vision of the Dhamma, he becomes a first path attainer. He's already an Arya, So once he becomes an Arya, he's different from an ordinary worldly person. He has not totally changed yet, but he has begun to change. Okay, he begins to change. So, for example, if you, after learning the Dhamma and listening to the suttas and all that, you attain the vision of the Dhamma, then you lose interest in worldly pursuits. You don't think of joining your friends to Genting Highland or Singapore Casino, or going to sightseeing in China, Guilin Mountains and whatever. There's no more that interest. You rather want to spend all your time, all the spare time you have, to listen to the Dhamma and try to meditate. So you start to practice the spiritual path more and more, and then if you haven't attained jhana, then it takes some time, maybe a few years, depending on how much effort you put in. If you put in more effort, it'll be faster. If you don't put in so much effort. Two things are most important. One is learning the suttas. The other one is meditation, to clear your mind of the defilements, the hindrances, the 5 hindrances. So if you do these two things sufficiently, after some time, that understanding deepens, and when it turns to fruit, the 3 fetters fall away. 3 fetters. Identity view, Sakaya Ditti, doubt about the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. And the other one is Sila Bhatta Paramasa, attachment to rules and religious practices.
So the key of cup winner doesn't has not eradicated these three factors?
No, path attainer has not. It's only when it turns to fruit that the three factors are eliminated. So if he puts in more effort at meditation and the studying of the suttas, the meditation, the samatha meditation to get rid of the 5 hindrances is very important, because when your hindrances are lower, you can understand the Dhamma clearer and faster. So, if a person to attain the second path and the second fruit, you don't need samadhi, you don't need 4 jhanas. But the difference between the first fruit and the second fruit is that the second fruit person, the sakadagamin, has reduced the greed, hatred and delusion. Now greed, hatred and delusion is part of the hindrances. So to reduce that, you need some samadhi. So for a person, open the door and see. For a person to attain the second path, he must generally have either the first jhana, or the second jhana, or the third jhana. And that is not perfect concentration. That is just concentration, but not perfect. So he needs one of these jhanas to attain the second path. So with this concentration, then the understanding is at a deeper level, because the hindrances are lower. The understanding is different, It's at a deeper level. Sees things more clearly than the person without jhana. So he enters the second path. After he enters the second path, similarly, it takes some time for that knowledge to sink in, and then he attains the fruition. Now, to attain the third path and fruit is different. Third path and fruit, you need the 4 jhanas. 4 jhanas, because the Buddha says in the suttas, in the Majjhima Nikaya, it is impossible for a person to attain anagamin and arahanthood without 4 jhanas. I don't know whether it's 68, Majjhima Nikaya 68. So you must have the 4 jhanas first, and then when you listen to the Dhamma, the understanding is deeper than the sakadagamin. Then he attains the path, which after some time will turn to fruit. Similarly with the arahant. Now one thing, there are some people, they don't want to acknowledge what the Buddha says in the suttas, namely that when a person attains the jhanas, the hindrances are eliminated for good. It's eliminated for good. Yes. That's what the sutta says very clearly, giving many similes in the Digha Nikaya. Now what people don't understand is this. What is a hindrance? The Buddha says, this sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry and doubt, are they hindrances? Not all the time. They are hindrances when they are so strong that they obsess the mind. That is, obsess the mind and you are hindered by them. Then only they are called hindrances. If they are weak, they are not called hindrances. So for example, I'll give you the simile of the lalang, the tall grass. Suppose the tall grass is 5 feet or 6 feet, and you try to walk through it, you'll be cut by the grass, you can't see the other side, you might fall into a pit and all this thing. It's a hindrance. But suppose now you cut the grass down to 1 foot, is it a hindrance? It's not a hindrance. It's definitely not a hindrance. But it's still there. So to give you a simile, say like for the first jhana, when a person attains the first jhana, it's like the 5 or 6 feet tall grass has been cut down to 1 foot. It's no more hindrance. That's why the Buddha said that it is eliminated permanently. And when a person attains the second jhana, it's like the grass has been cut down to maybe 8 inches. And when a person attains the third jhana, it's like it's cut down to 4 inches. Third jhana. But when a person attains the fourth jhana, it's cut down to 1 millimeter. There's a big difference between the first 3 jhanas and the fourth jhana. The Buddha says the first 3 jhanas is perturbable, boleh goyang, can still shake. So if your grass is 1 foot tall or 8 inches or 4 inches, when a strong wind comes, it still moves, isn't it? But it's 1 millimeter, a big storm comes also, it doesn't move. That's why the Buddha says the fourth jhana is imperturbable. So don't think that when the Buddha says the hindrances are eliminated, that they're totally gone. They're still there.
So Bhante, can we say therefore that the faith follower and the Dhamma follower are actually the part, the stream and the part winner? They are the part.
First part.
Not winner. I'm sure.
The part winner.
Yeah, okay, fine. Stream entry.
Candidates for stream entry.
Yeah.
Candidate or Sudan?
Candidate for stream entry. I don't know, but candidate.
No, the trouble is the fruit, they sometimes translate as stream entry. I think actually the path should be called stream entry. The fruit should be stream winner, isn't it?
So these two are actually the part winner.
Yes.
But if let's say the stream entry, if let's say he doesn't practice, so he will die as a stream enterer, not as a winner.
Oh, no. By the time he dies, it must turn into fruit. The sutta says it must turn into fruit, even if he does nothing.
I think it's very hard to make. I can summarize as this: to be stream enterer, no need jhanas. Is that correct?
Of course, yes, no need jhana.
But very interesting, Bhante, you mentioned about the jhanas. I can't remember which sutta, but Bhikkhu Bodhi said you have to come out of the jhana and exercise the refrain. And then I think it was Bhante Ji that says you can't come out of the jhana because this is where, I'm not sure, he said if you come out of the jhanas then the defilements are there, whether it's 4 inches, 8 inches, and let that be it. So I'm just academically interested, not as about anywhere, what is Bhante's view?
My view is that when you are in jhana, you cannot contemplate. Because in the first jhana, it is said that you only have skillful thoughts, you don't have unskillful thoughts. But whereas in the second jhana, you have no thoughts. The thoughts cannot arise. The mind is so powerful that the thoughts cannot arise. But you are aware.
But you have to exercise the restraint, otherwise we end up in that realm where it's like 4 big bangs and we're still in samsara, right? But they have to do something, otherwise they end up in the wrong direction.
A lot of teachers say things that are not what the Buddha said. And they discourage you from staying in jhana and all these things, okay? But the highest state of tranquility you can reach is what? Cessation. Cessation. No. That is the highest arupa. But beyond that, is a higher state, cessation of perception and feeling. Okay? So, in that state, you are like a stone, Your breathing has stopped. Your heart has stopped.
But my understanding of... I can't remember.
Wait. Okay. So, this person in that state is like a stone. But when he comes out of it, and becomes an arahant. Automatically. Automatically. So don't belittle samadhi.
Oh, no, not at all. Yeah, just don't end up
And that state like a stone is so powerful that in the sutta, the Buddha talked about a previous life, arahant, who entered that state in the deep forest, and the villagers went to the forest to look for wood and all this thing, and saw him sitting there with the breath stopped, with the heart stopped. They assumed that he's dead. So what did they do? So I give him a good send-off. So piled a lot of wood on top of him and started the fire. The next day they were shocked to see him come into town. That state, the fire cannot burn, cannot harm him.
Is that where Mahathera is, like that state, like stone?
Mahakassapa has entered Nibbana, and you are reading some Mahayana book that says he is in a chicken foot mountain in China.
I thought he wanted to stay there for the Vaidya to offer the robe.
That's Mahayana.
Oh,
You read too much. Stick to the suttas. Getting all that wrong view into here.
Is this stage called the Nirodha Samapatti?
Yes. Yeah. The Buddha says the first three jhanas are perturbable. That means still shakeable. But the fourth jhana is so still that it is not shakeable. Wait until you experience, then you know. Some things you want to know, no use. If it helps you on the path, you want to know. It doesn't help you.
In the state you don't know which one.
How can in that state you don't know? When you're in jhana, you are very aware.
Distinction. First jhana. I'm sorry, I'm very...
The sutta says in the first jhana you have 5 factors. Okay? So you still have vitaka and vichara. Vitaka and vichara means thought directed and sustained. So for example, if you're practicing anapanasati, mindfulness of the breath, you are still mindful of the breath. When your mind goes out, you pull it back, that is thought directed. And you keep it on the breath, that is thought sustained, vitaka and vichara. So when your meditation becomes more tranquil, then you switch your attention to that piti and sukha. You don't pay attention to that breath anymore. Then you are no more conscious of the breath, you are conscious of that bliss and the delight. And then you go into the second jhana. So these, first jhana is just now the one, and you are on your breath. That is, if you are able to follow your breath long enough, then all the 5 factors will come. All the 5 factors.
We need to pay attention to the piti.
You wait until you practice, all this theory, no point. You will find that in the suttas, when it comes to meditation, the Buddha did not give detailed instructions as nowadays a lot of meditation teachers give. A lot of the meditation teachers now give so detailed instructions that the disciples originally know what they are going to get. Now the mind is very tricky, If you believe you want to see this and you want to see that, very soon you will see. So the Buddha purposely didn't give in a lot of details. The Buddha only gave you the basic steps to practice. And when you achieve, you will know for yourself.
Actually, what's the difference between the Dhammakaya method and the Vipassana method of meditation?
from what I've read about the life of the founder of the Dhammakaya, is that they imagine there's a crystal in the abdomen, and they pay attention to that. Okay? So, when they think of the crystal long enough, then it sticks in their mind. And then they imagine it to be bright, and then becomes bright. Then they look into the center of the crystal, and they see it becomes very, very bright. Then they see they go into that center of the crystal, and then they enter the Dhammakaya. And then from there, they see they can go astral traveling. So this is not what the Buddha taught. That's why I said just now, if you want to see something, you will see it. You want to believe something, you will believe it. So in the biography of this founder of this Dhammakaya, she said that she entered the Dhammakaya, then went to look for the father, and then found the father in hell, and found the father was very thin and suffering. And then she admonished the father, told the father, today you're in hell because you killed so many animals and all these things. Then asked him to think of the precepts and think of all the good that he had done as a human being, and to try to meditate. So when he did these things, the body started to become more and more beautiful. And then after that, she led him out of hell into the heavens, and then left him there and told him, you have to practice your sila, continue to practice your sila and practice meditation, otherwise you'll fall down. But in the original Buddha's teachings, you cannot help somebody out of hell. If you can help somebody out of hell, the Buddha would have helped all the beings out of hell already. Yes or not? So that's why unless you have a good knowledge of the original teachings of the Buddha in the suttas, you don't know which is right, which is wrong. That's why in the suttas the Buddha said, if any monk says that the Buddha taught such and such, the Buddha says you should compare it with the suttas. That means the original suttas. And the monks' Vinaya, but the monks' Vinaya is only for monks. So if it does not agree with the original suttas, that is not the Buddha's teachings. When we are new in Buddhism, anything we come across, or anything we read, we think is part of Buddhism, and we practice it. And then later you might find after many years that you wasted years practicing all these things.